What if the very first sign that your erection is weakening has nothing to do with the moment you try to get hard, but with something that happens hours earlier inside your blood vessels? Most men over 60 only notice the final effect. The penis feels slower, softer, or less reactive. But the real problem begins long before that moment. The body sends a warning signal that nearly every man ignores, and understanding this signal is the first step to fixing circulation down there. Here is the truth: before an erection ever fails, blood flow becomes inconsistent. You may not feel pain, you may not feel discomfort, but your pelvic vessels start narrowing earlier and reopening later. This delay happens silently, every single day. And because the penis depends entirely on rapid blood entry, even a small delay in circulation is enough to weaken morning firmness, reduce sensitivity, and make erections unpredictable. This early signal shows up in subtle ways. You wake up with the penis colder than usual. It feels lighter instead of heavier. It takes a longer moment to wake up even when your mind is ready. These signs mean one thing: your vessels are not delivering pressure fast enough. And once that slowdown begins, the erectile chambers inside the penis cannot expand the way they used to. But here is the opportunity hidden inside the problem. Circulation is one of the easiest systems to stimulate because it reacts to chemistry faster than to anything else. A single natural ingredient with the right vascular properties can encourage your endothelium to open earlier, stay flexible longer, and respond to pressure more quickly. This means the penis does not wait for the body to catch up, it begins the day ready. As a doctor, I tell my patients this in simple terms: erections fail in the blood vessels long before they fail in the penis. And if you learn to recognize this early warning sign, you also learn how to reverse it. Before we continue, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you do not miss the next steps. And comment the word flowing if you want your circulation to start improving today, or starting if you will apply the method I am about to show you. If blood is not reaching your penis the way it used to, there is always a deeper reason behind it, and it has very little to do with age itself. The real issue begins inside the inner lining of your blood vessels, a thin biological layer called the endothelium. This tissue is responsible for one of the most important steps in generating an erection, allowing the vessels to widen quickly so blood can surge into the erectile chambers. When the endothelium stops doing its job, everything else slows down with it. After the age of 60, the endothelium becomes less responsive. It does not open as quickly, it does not stay flexible, and it does not release nitric oxide in the amount required for strong circulation. Nitric oxide is the molecule that tells your vessels to relax so blood can pass through with force. With lower levels of it, the routes leading to your penis behave like partially closed tunnels. Blood tries to move, but the passage is too narrow, and pressure never reaches the level needed for firmness. Another factor many men overlook is temperature. When the vessels lose elasticity, the penis stays cooler, especially in the morning. A cold penis is a sign of poor microcirculation. Warmth only returns when the vessels are capable of expanding again. This is why certain ingredients have such a powerful impact. They raise internal temperature by improving blood movement, not by stimulating libido. What most men misinterpret as weakness is actually a circulation system waiting for the right signal. The penis itself is not failing. The environment around it is. When the vessels fail to open, the erectile chambers receive too little blood, and the penis cannot build enough pressure to stay firm. But the good news is that this system is responsive. The endothelium reacts immediately to specific nutrients that encourage nitric oxide release and restore flexibility. Once the vessels begin opening again, even a small improvement triggers a noticeable change in firmness. To understand why a natural ingredient can influence your erection so quickly, you need to understand the chain of reactions that happens inside your circulatory system the moment you consume it. Erections are not created in the penis first. They begin in the bloodstream. And certain foods contain bioactive compounds that directly affect how your vessels behave, especially the small, fragile ones responsible for carrying blood to the base of the penis. These compounds act like gentle chemical messengers. After you swallow them, they enter your digestive tract and are absorbed into the bloodstream. From there, they travel through your arteries and eventually reach the pelvic region. Once they arrive, they trigger a reaction in the endothelial cells. A release of nitric oxide. This molecule is the yes signal for blood flow. It tells the smooth muscles around your vessels to soften and widen, making it easier for blood to enter. What makes this process so important for older men is that your vessels do not need to open much to create a large difference. Even a small improvement in diameter lets blood move with far more speed and pressure. That extra pressure is what allows the erectile chambers to expand. Think of it like opening a faucet that has been stuck for years. The moment it loosens, even slightly, water rushes through with strength. And the effect does not depend on excitement or arousal. This is pure physiology. The ingredient does not stimulate desire. It stimulates blood movement. Your penis responds only because it is designed to react whenever circulation improves. That means firmness becomes easier not because you changed your mindset, but because your vessels finally receive the chemical signal they have been missing. This is why the right ingredient can seem to act so fast. It bypasses the psychological route and goes straight to the vascular one, the route that actually controls erection strength. To understand how this natural ingredient can clear the veins of the penis, you need to look at what really happens inside those vessels after the age of 60. Most men think blockage means something dramatic, like plaque or obstruction, but the problem is usually much simpler and far more reversible. The veins and arteries supplying the penis become tight, rigid, and unresponsive. They are not clogged. They are constricted. Inside every blood vessel is a layer of smooth muscle. When you are young, this muscle relaxes easily, allowing blood to flow freely. But with age, inflammation builds up, nitric oxide drops, and the muscle stops relaxing. It becomes harder, stiffer, and slower. The vessel narrows, and blood struggles to pass through. This is why erections weaken, the chambers cannot fill with enough pressure. The natural ingredient you are learning about contains compounds that target this exact issue. They reduce the inflammation that keeps the vessels tight. They encourage the smooth muscle to soften. And they reactivate nitric oxide pathways that have been silent for years. When these three actions occur together, the vessels start to regain flexibility. They open wider. Blood enters faster. The erectile chambers expand more easily. This is what people mean when they say an ingredient clears the veins. It does not remove debris. It removes tension. It restores movement. It takes a vessel that has been squeezed shut and allows it to stretch again. Once it stretches, the penis can receive rapid blood flow, which is the foundation of an instant erection. Another important effect happens in the capillaries, the tiny vessels at the surface of the penis. When circulation improves, these capillaries rewarm the tissue, increasing sensitivity and responsiveness. A warm penis is a sign of healthy microcirculation. A cold one is a sign of restriction. By targeting both the deeper vessels and the surface microvasculature, the ingredient creates a full system response that older men feel immediately: heat returning, pressure increasing, and the penis reacting quickly. To understand what happens inside your penis when blood finally begins to flow the way it should, imagine the erectile chambers as two long, flexible pockets that sit inside the shaft. These pockets are called the corpora cavernosa, and they are responsible for both the firmness and the size of your erection. When these chambers are empty, the penis stays soft. But when they fill with pressurized blood, they expand and harden almost instantly. In younger men, the chambers open quickly because the vessel walls are elastic and the smooth muscles inside them respond immediately to nitric oxide. But after 60, the tissue inside the corpora cavernosa becomes less cooperative. It takes longer for the chambers to relax and longer for them to fill. The penis is not broken. The system is just slow. When you consume the right natural ingredient before showering, you create a situation where the erectile chambers are primed before the day begins. The bioactive compounds loosen the vessels, reduce internal tension, and increase blood movement toward the pelvic region. Then, when your body warms up in the shower, your circulation rises naturally. This combination pushes blood into the corpora cavernosa with force. The first sign men notice is warmth. This warmth is not superficial. It is internal, inside the erectile chambers themselves. It means blood has begun to enter the tissue. The second sign is heaviness. Not discomfort, but a pleasant sense of weight at the base. That weight is blood filling the pockets. And when the pressure builds, the chambers expand, creating the firmness every man recognizes. This expansion also compresses the veins that normally drain blood out of the penis. When these veins narrow, blood becomes trapped inside the chambers. Trapped blood equals erection. The process is mechanical, not mysterious. Older men often report that once this cycle reactivates, their erections feel fuller and more stable than they have in years. Not because anything was repaired overnight, but because the erectile tissue finally received enough pressure to function correctly. One of the most overlooked advantages of using the right natural ingredient before showering is how dramatically your body's response changes once heat is added. Most men understand that warm water relaxes the body, but very few realize how precisely it affects the erectile system. When your vessels are already softened by the ingredient and your shower increases your internal temperature, the two effects combine in a way that older bodies respond to instantly. Heat widens blood vessels. It does this by relaxing the smooth muscle that normally keeps the vessel tight. When this relaxation happens at the same time that nitric oxide levels rise from the nutrient you consumed, the vessels do not just open, they open fast. The pelvic area becomes a high-flow zone, and blood moves with far greater ease toward the erectile chambers. For older men, this thermal boost is even more effective. Aging vessels tend to contract more than they should and resist opening. But when the warmth from the shower meets the chemical signal from the ingredient, that resistance breaks. The vessels behave more like they did decades earlier, flexible, responsive, and ready to deliver pressure. This is why many men describe the shower as the moment when the body switches on. Warmth floods the pelvis, sensitivity increases, and the penis begins reacting with a kind of sharpness that has been missing for years. It is not psychological optimism. It is a physiological chain reaction: softened vessels, rising temperature, increased blood flow, and erectile chambers that finally have the conditions they need to expand. Some men feel the difference at the base first, a deep pulse or a stronger sense of weight. Others notice a sudden improvement in sensitivity along the shaft. Both reactions mean the same thing: the erectile system is receiving the blood pressure it needs. And once this cycle starts happening consistently, the morning becomes the most predictable time of the day for firmness to return. Once the vessels begin responding to both the natural ingredient and the heat from your shower, the erectile system reaches a stage that many older men have not experienced in years: rapid activation. This is the moment when your body transitions from slow, restricted circulation to fast, targeted flow directly into the pelvic region. And the sensation is unmistakable. What happens next is a coordinated effort inside your body. As blood flow increases, the pelvic nerves detect the change immediately. These nerves are responsible for triggering the erection reflex, the automatic signal that tells the erectile chambers to open and accept more blood. With age, this reflex weakens not because the nerves die, but because they do not receive enough stimulation. Once blood returns with force, the nerves switch back on. The reaction tends to follow a predictable order. First, the nerves send a stronger message to the corpora cavernosa, telling them to relax and prepare for expansion. Next, the chambers begin filling faster, causing a warm pressure along the shaft. Then comes the compression of the veins, trapping the blood inside and creating firmness. This entire process can unfold in seconds when circulation is finally restored. What surprises most men over 60 is the intensity of the response. The erection feels fuller, heavier, and more stable, not merely because the chambers are filling, but because the entire vascular system is cooperating again. Your arteries are delivering blood, your smooth muscle is relaxing, your veins are trapping the flow, and your nerves are amplifying the signal. This synergy is the foundation of what many describe as an instant erection. It is not sudden magic. It is the result of vessels, nerves, and muscle returning to their proper timing. Once this timing is restored, your body behaves the way it was designed to behave. For many men, this becomes the moment they realize the issue was never lack of desire, it was lack of circulation. And when circulation returns, everything else follows naturally. If you stayed with me until the end of this video, it means you are truly committed to improving your circulation and restoring the strength of your erections in a natural, reliable way. Before you go, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you can follow every step of this process with clarity and confidence. And since you reached the final minute, I want you to comment one word below: circulating. By writing this, you show me that you understand how important blood flow is, and that you are ready to act on it. If the information here helped you understand your body better, take a moment to leave a like. It supports the channel and helps this message reach other men who need real, science-based guidance. And do not stop here. The next video appearing on your screen continues exactly from this point and takes you even deeper into rebuilding healthy circulation and natural firmness. Watch it now and keep your progress moving forward.